Hey guys, welcome back to another Conan Exiles video. Today we are on the Savage Wilds modded map in map square C9 building a hunter's home. This home belongs to Morrigan Byrne, a Cimmerian man belonging to an offshoot of the Forgotten tribe that have established themselves in the grasslands of the Savage Wilds. Morrigan was born into the tribe and has joined his tribe mates in battle against man and beast many times. However, in these times of relative peace, Morrigan is living a somewhat more relaxed lifestyle, hunting the abundant wildlife of the Savage Wilds, selling whatever he doesn't eat, and amassing a comfortable amount of coin. Morrigan is a simple man that enjoys hunting, fighting and eating. He cares not about the wonders of high society. He was never taught to read or write, but he's a talented hunter and, funnily enough, he's quite good at playing the lute. So, now that we know about Morrigan, let's get started on his home. Firstly, I started off with, of course, the baseplate. I chose to use stockade for this build from the Northern Timber mod, as it's the one material from that mod set I haven't really used all too much. I used regular and wedge foundations to build the basic shape of the build. Of course, if you like to build this on a roleplay server with foundation placement restrictions, you could use fence foundations. I chose not to use them as I'm still slightly traumatised from the fence foundation debacle in the last build. As you can see, the base plate for this build is really simple and easy, but it will lend itself nicely to a simple, nice interior design as we get further into the build. Next, for the walls. Stockade foundations sit on pillars rather than being full blocks, similar to wooden foundations, so I decided to use stockade walls on the sides of the foundations to cover those pillars. I then started on the walls of the home itself, using stockade door frames, windows, walls and half walls to build up the home. Whilst I will be using the basic window pieces available, I'll also be using the half walls in this build to create open air windows throughout the build, as you'll see in a little while. I built the walls 2 tiles high around the build, then placing a flat, shallow roof gable onto the open air room at the front. I then used beams, I believe these are from the Glass Constructions mod, to create a framework wall at the front of this room, onto which I then built another roof gable. Next, I continued to build up the walls. After building the first floor walls above the lounge area of the build, I then built a staircase up to that floor, then adding a small balcony section onto the kitchen, and then using stockade ceilings and wedges above the kitchen to create the bathroom on the first floor. For the bathroom, I built the walls 1 tile high with a one-sided gable. I then removed the second tile of walls on the ground floor in the lounge, replacing them with beams and half walls. You will see why shortly. I then built the ceilings on the first floor to make the bedroom, building the walls up 2 tiles high in a similar fashion to the lounge below. Next, I made open windows above the front door, then using ceilings across the top of the walls. I then began on the roof itself, using northern thatch roof pieces. Though this does look complicated, especially with these shallow pieces if you're not familiar with them, I simply just followed the flow of each roof. By making each roof section separate and smaller, it made life much easier when it came to constructing each roof section. I didn't really run into any issues. Probably the most difficult part was working out how to do the roof over the staircase, but this was a minor inconvenience and I managed to come up with a solution pretty quickly. Speaking of roofs, how would you guys feel about a short guide in the future about planning and building roofs? I know a lot of people seem to struggle with them, so maybe that would be something useful. Let me know in the comments if that's something you want to see. Finally, when the shallow build was done, it was then time to, of course, furnish. Approaching the build, I've used fences to section off a yard to give the home a better sense of order. The larger yard on the right side of the entrance is a utility yard, where barrels of food, firewood and other items like that are stored, clothes can be dried, and where Morrigan keeps his horse and his hunting wagon. Crossing the small bridge, this section of the yard includes a small seating area where Morrigan is currently relaxing and taking in the views. Entering the home, I've aimed for a really rustic style with just a touch of elegance, which comes from Morrigan's plentiful earnings from his hunting. Entering the kitchen, this is a pretty simple room design. This isn't a fancy restaurant or a palace. Morrigan just cooks his food and eats it. Outside of the kitchen is a small herbalist station. Morrigan's time spent in nature means he often collects plants to examine, and this is where he does it. Next we reach the workshop. This is where animals are processed into their various parts ready for sale or consumption. Morrigan currently has a gazelle on the table, with the products of his last kill on the table behind. This room includes various different places for Morrigan to collect pelt, meat, fat and anything else useful from the animal, even using the bones to flavour soups and stews. Next, the lounge. This is where Morrigan would relax after a hard day and where his trusty dog likes to wait for him to return. Whilst Morrigan does live alone, he's a generally friendly and upbeat man, so he's always prepared for his tribe mates to visit. Heading upstairs, we have a small bathroom on the right. Tribe members aren't usually too big on hygiene and smelling great, but I guess Morrigan has picked up that tradition of regular bathing from the marketplaces he spends so much time in. Finally, we reach Morrigan's bedroom. This is where he rests his head after a long day, and it's full of all sorts of items. His favourite weapons are hung on the wall, his most used outfits standing next to the wardrobe, and the head of his first Elk King kill hangs above the bed. And there we have it, Morrigan Byrne's home on the Savage Wilds in Map Square C9. Thanks for watching. Morrigan is a character that I wanted to present for roleplay purposes, but his character was just a little bit too simple to warrant a full biography video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this shorter form roleplay focused video. I do have a couple of other characters that would fit this format, so if you guys do like it I can always of course do it again. As always, you'll find all the links to my Twitch, Discord, Twitter, Patreon and NordVPN discounts in the description below, along with credit for the music used in this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I put out at least 2 videos a week, so there's always plenty of content to come. If you have any suggestions for future builds, I would love to hear them in the comments below. As always, a massive thanks to our patrons Sammy, Sir Dialot, Randar, Connor, Blue Ivy, Velma, Torn, and Eagle Rose. Again, thank you very much for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.